Had a stressful day at work? Have a drink. Had a disagreement with your spouse? Eat some ice cream. Why do we think that giving into our cravings is going to solve our real world problems? I've had some experience dealing with people who drink too much, and it isn't fun. One person in particular comes to mind, and half the time I felt like I was Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out what was really happening in our interactions. The other half the time, I felt like I was their priest. Begging for forgiveness wasn't cute. Our friendship just floated well into the background, and everything was about his problems and how can he solve things and what is he going to do. And it was, yeah. Nobody starts off unable to solve a problem without drinking something or eating chocolate bars. That happens slowly over time. Can you remember when you used to be having so much fun with friends that you actually forgot to eat? And I'm not talking about the times where you're at work and you're working and your stomach is growling, or you're on the road and like you didn't eat because you were hungry, but I mean, back in the day when you would be running around outside with your teenage friends at the park and just not remember food until it's like almost supper time and you're like, oh, wait, I'm hungry. Can you remember that? It used to happen to me all the time. And I see it happen to my daughter. When they're all together doing something, or not only she doesn't remember the food, none of her friends talk about food. It's like I have to ask them, hey, did you guys eat anything? Things change, life gets stressful, and then we learn to seek things to make us feel better. When it comes to drinking, we start off thinking that we're totally in control. We only do it at parties or maybe on the weekends. And then eventually we're doing it maybe after work until it starts happening at lunchtime. But it's not often that it's happening first thing in the morning that's only when we're really stressed. And that progression happens because, well, problems don't wait for the weekend. Problems don't wait till I'm finished work. I could be having problems all day long. And so my desire to feel better is going to happen at any point in the day, at any point in the week. As an observer, you might, being a good friend, try to talk to this person and help them to understand this isn't helping you. You might try to create events and opportunities to get together that aren't around drinking, right? Because you are a good friend and you want them to be okay. But if that doesn't work, you might end up avoiding them because honestly, it's just hard to watch somebody who's in that situation. Here's the thing. It isn't hard to hide overeating. When I eat 4 servings of nuts, there's really no way for Pat to tell that I've done that. As a matter of fact, the only clue that any person will ever have that you've overindulged in food, those sugar cravings that are pulling on you, the only way we tell is when your weight starts to rise. Problem one with that, it can take years before your weight actually starts to be impacted by this. I only gained the weight after my daughter was born and she was about 4 years old. So I was in my late 30s. Secondly, once you're actually overweight, putting on 5 pounds, 3 pounds, 2 pounds here and there, it's not obvious anymore. Right? If you see me often, you're not going to notice until you don't see me for a while and you see me again, you're like, wait a minute, did you gain weight? Thirdly, we have access to sugar much younger than we have access to drinking. I can clearly remember being 11 years old in my kitchen, scouring the kitchen cupboards, looking for chocolate. That's a memory that I have easily. When I was 11, that was the year that grade 6, we were preparing for high school, and there was so much pressure, so much more homework, so much more. So the things in my life that to adults seem like nothing, but stressful to me, and we started to see my self-soothing behavior. Successfully quitting drinking typically takes, on average, 2 attempts. So whether you take more attempts would be dependent on something like the severity of your drinking how much depression or other emotional disturbances are happening in your life, and imagined or real lack of support. So, what contributes to the severity of your drinking problem? Well, actually, the length of time that you've been drinking has an impact on whether or not you're going to be on the easier side or the more difficult side of quitting. Given that I began using sugar to cope from the young age of 11, that means that by the time I actually started to show any weight signs at around 37, I had already had 26 years under my belt of using sugar to self-soothe. If I really want to solve my sugar cravings and no longer be controlled by food, then what I actually need to do is give myself time to solve this behavior that says when I'm upset, go eat something. It's no secret that I struggled with nuts for a very long time, longer than I really like to admit. And if I'm honest, I'm still struggling. It isn't because I don't buy the nuts that the struggle isn't still happening. When I'm upset, when things go wrong, when people bother me, what's the thought that I have? I think about it. In the years that you were self-soothing with food or drinking, you were creating a pattern or a habit that said, this is how you take care of yourself. And it will actually take time for you to create a new habit, a new way of taking care of yourself. What is your new pattern, new habit? If you don't have a new pathway, a new pattern, a new habit to take care of yourself when you're upset, what happens is that the old habit will be re-engaged. So you're going to want the thing that typically made you feel better. Successfully solving your sugar addiction, your drinking problem, your whatever it is that you're struggling with right now will happen when you commit to solving the problems in your life, allowing people who care about you to help you. So get that support from the people around you and formulate a new way to take care of you. What's the new thing going to be? It can be tricky to find support in order to solve sugar addiction because most people think that eating carbs is normal, natural, even healthy. So you can click the link in the card or the description down below to join the Wellness Squad and get the support that you really need. It's about being healthy. So let's do it together.